I can get past a lot in this movie, but there's one thing that I cannot get past, and that's that they expect us to believe that a school's mascot is actually a giant baby. Who are we playing next week, Coach? We're playing the babies. Hello, hello! I am Dr. Rorschach, back again. Thank you for joining me today. And today we are talking about Happy Death Day to you, something like that. So the first Happy Death Day was a big surprise for me. It was probably one of my favorite Blumhouse movies, and it first seemed like a Groundhog's Day knockoff, but it turned out to be a big surprise, and it has a big cult following, actually. But like most horror movies, if it does successful, it's going to get a sequel, and in most cases, the sequels do not live up, or are sometimes even terrible compared to their original counterparts. So the big question is, how does Happy Death Day to You compare to Happy Death Day? Well, in Happy Death Day to You, we follow all the same characters from the first movie, mainly following the Tree character from the first movie. Yes, her name is Tree. But besides Tree, we get to see some of the other college students, and some of them that we barely saw in the first movie, we get to see much more of in this movie. I do want to say that going into this movie, I was thinking it was just going to be a repeat of the first movie where she's just living the same day over again and she has to figure out why it's happening again. But they actually do a really good twist with this that makes the issue of the first movie happening again fresh. And it's something that I've not really seen a horror movie do, to where they bring back the same element but do something almost completely, they do it in a completely different way, and it was done very well. I will say, however, the first 10 minutes of this movie feel extremely different from the rest of the movie. The first 10 minutes follow the Asian roommate from that you see in the first movie that would always come in while the two were laying in bed, and it almost seems like it's going to follow him. And honestly, I kind of would have been interested to see this scenario happen to another character that's in the same school, because he was actually really cool and probably one of my favorite parts of the movie, and I wish we could have seen what would have happened to him. But also, the first 10 minutes are a lot more horror and suspense, and the rest, it's almost an emotional comedy. Like, it's very funny at times, but it's also going on the emotional past of Tree and going through the things that's bothering her regarding her family and love life. And so don't go into this expecting to be a horror movie. It's the first one wasn't too scary, but this one almost takes away almost all the horror elements. I will say something I really liked from this movie is, if you've seen the first one, you're going to go into this movie and see things happen, and the movie knows how to make you think something is going to happen, only to twist it and give you a big surprise. And that was something very nice for the movie to set up your expectations and then just completely change it. It was a very nice twist and something very refreshing for the horror movie genre, or if you could call it a horror movie. Side note on the whole horror thing, this movie is PG-13. They get that rating only through language. There's no blood in here and almost little to no violence in this movie. This movie also weirdly gave me a lot of emotional narrative in the movie. You almost have to, we see a scene where the character is thinking about a scenario where you would have to either pick between a love that you've had before or a potential future love. And it's something that, like, I think a lot of people think about, but when we see it put into an actual scenario, we just then can realize just how hard of a choice that would be. I also do really appreciate that they actually explain why the same day is being repeated over and over. That is explained in the movie, because in the first one it was not explained at all, and that was a big issue I had with the first one, but it is explained in this movie, so points for that. On to some cons, however. This movie does get a bit cheesy at times. Not all the humor hits, and some of the dialogue is cheesy between some of the people, and some of the interactions and reactions from people are just a bit over the top and unnecessary at times. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed Happy Death Day to You. It's one of the best recent horror movie sequels that we've seen, probably since The Conjuring 2, I'd have to say. It brings a lot of freshness to the table while still being able to continue the past story, which is something a lot of horror movies struggle with. I think this is definitely also a really good date movie. I saw this with my roommate, but I think it's a good date movie for any couples wanting to go out and see this movie. Happy Death Day to You is a 7 out of 10. I'm honestly not sure whether I like this one or the first one more. The first one was a bit more horror-ish, and I liked it more for that, but this one had some better storytelling elements into it, so I'm going to think upon that. But that is all I have for today. As usual, I am Dr. Rorschach. Thank you for watching. If you've seen this movie, tell me in the comments below what you think, and have a great day.